I'm going to show you 3 different pieces of equipment that we use on a regular or almost daily basis here at Catalyst Fitness. The first is going to be Redcord, the second is going to be Viper, and the third is going to be the Surge 360. Using each one of these pieces of equipment, we're able to regress and progress exercises to meet the goals, needs, and demands of our clientele. Specifically in our small group training, we can have the same individuals performing the same fundamental movement patterns, but at different levels of intensity. Thus, we're dialing it in and challenging them at their specific threshold. In this exercise example, we're going to use the Redcord to perform a supine pelvic lift or hip extension type exercise. We're going to begin the exercise using 2 legs. I'll progress then to just using 1 leg, and then I'll take it through a series of progressions where I go from a wide base of support to a narrow or less base of support to adding in movement. So you're going to see how we can take the same fundamental supine pelvic lift or hip extension type movement and modify the exercise on the fly or with minimal change to the equipment so that individuals of different ability levels, whether in a group, in succession, in a circuit, in a medley, in a relay, etc., could perform exercises at their given threshold. When training clients using Viper, one of the acute variables that we commonly manipulate to regress or progress the intensity of the exercise is hold. In other words, how we hold the Viper. So for example, we can hold with a narrow grip, what we refer to as a neutral grip, or a wide grip. We can also hold with an offset grip. There's many other holds that we can use, but those are the ones that I'm going to demonstrate exercises with right now. So for example, we can do a kettlebell type swing movement, up, down like this, going through flexion and extension. You'll notice that the Viper here moves a little bit faster as far as how my hands are moving when I have a narrow grip. If I shift to a neutral grip, the movement slows down a little bit. And if I go to a wide grip, it slows down even more, and there's greater demand and a restricted range of motion because there's more demand on my shoulders and my torso. In this next example, we're going to do a lateral shuffle with shoulder height shift. What I mean is I'm going to move my feet laterally, shuffling, and I'm going to shift the Viper horizontally through a field of gravity, roughly at the height of my shoulder. I'm going to begin the movement with a narrow grip, progress to a neutral grip, progress to an offset grip. By doing so, I'll start at an easier form of the exercise, progressing through to a more challenging form of the exercise. But you'll notice I haven't changed the weight of the Viper. So that means that, let's say we've got 3 to 5 people working all on a line. Let's say they all have the same weight or they all have similar weights. You don't have to necessarily give somebody a heavier Viper to make the exercise more challenging. The point here is that when we choose the training tools that we use for our small group training or even our one-on-one training, we choose and utilize tools that allow us to regress and progress exercises to meet the goals, needs, and demands of the clientele that we're serving. Therefore, we can tweak each exercise and challenge that person at their given threshold. So, moving on to our example again, we start with this neutral grip, lateral shuffle, shift, bring it back, lateral shuffle, shift. We're going to progress it. If we're seeing that the individual is not being challenged enough, we're going to shuffle, shift, here, shuffle, shift, still not challenging enough for them, go to the offset grip, shuffle. Just like that. The Surge 360 fits in beautifully to our small group training model, in as much as we can use the same movement pattern with each client. So for example, if I'm doing a lunge here with a chest fly, or a lunge here with a reverse fly, or maybe I'm doing some sort of windshield wiper type of format here, or figure eights, just like this, you'll notice that the omnikinetic resistance, being the technology behind the Surge 360 board, in other words, how the Surge gets its resistance, I can push it with one finger, or I can explode just like that. Basically, it responds to me. It gives me the resistance that I put into it. How does that work well with small group training? Imagine I have 3 different types of people: adolescent, middle-aged, professional athlete. You can again use the same fundamental movement pattern or series of movement patterns that you're looking to train, but everybody can use the same piece of machinery or same training tool, yet they can each get different intensities out of it.